Well, hello there and welcome. My name is Kylie Patchett and I'm your host, and welcome to the Wild and Finally Fucking Free podcast. This show is all about sharing the real and raw stories from women who have undergone midlife metamorphosis, taken a leap of faith, or broken the ties that bind them in patterns of staying stuck, small, and like their needs don't matter. You see, I believe that the years leading up to and during menopause are a rite of passage, a deep invitation after so many years of giving our time, attention, and energy to others to carve out the same time, energy, and attention in ourselves, in our health, our love, our connection, our vitality, our purpose, our real needs and deep desires. You know, those ones lying dormant underneath all the duty, responsibility, pushing, striving, and achieving of our 20s and 30s? You see, at this stage in our lives, we find ourselves shifting identity potentially, no longer caring as much what other people think, and left wondering why on earth we have not given ourselves permission to do life in the way we truly want to. In this show, I speak to the women brave enough to truth talk their own midlife shedding skin stories, and the healers and helpers who help them transition through these crossroads of change. This is the midlife magic you didn't even know you needed, and I am so freaking glad you found us. Let's dive in. Hello there, everyone. It's Kylie here. Welcome to a solo episode. It's been a while since we caught up, hasn't it? It's been a big few weeks on the podcast with some more amazing stories and expert guests and lots of messages and DMs back. Thank you so much for everyone who takes the time to share a takeaway or says, "Oh my God, me too," in my DMs. I really appreciate it. It is my absolute intention for these stories of midlife magic to reach millions of women all across the world. I wonder if you could give me a hand, actually. If you're loving the show, and if you're here, I'm guessing you are, could you take the time to actually become a subscriber, which means following on your favorite platform, and rate the show and even leave a review if you listen on a platform where you can. I didn't realize you can't on Spotify yet. And yeah, let me know on socials or DMs or whatever what you love, and share the show with one other midlife maven. I would really appreciate it. So I'm recording this at 4:29 a.m. Why, you ask? Well, that's a very good question. You see, we have a cat whose name officially is Marlowe, but who actually gets called Dick because our teenage daughters thought that it was absolutely flipping hilarious to repeat that his name was Dick until he wouldn't come to anything else. And so now you can imagine me when I'm calling him for dinner. Anyway, this cat can be a little bit, he can be a little bit, a little bit of a goose, shall we say, a little bit like his name. And he has come in and out last night in the rain 3 times. So I have been up in the middle of the night cleaning a very wet, very dirty cat. How do they get that dirty? Like crazy town. We haven't had rain here for a while, so I'm sure he's been out on the railway line just near us in the big, tall grass, having a great time. So anyway, he did that 3 times. I finally got back to sleep, and then a big gust of wind came and blew my bedside lamp onto the floor, and the base shattered. So now I'm wide awake. So it's like, you know what? This was meant to be out yesterday, so why not get up and just start recording? So here we are. I have been writing a lot lately, and I've been writing a lot because for me personally, it helps me to process this kind of weird, disconnected, discombobulating time of our lives. And I wanted to share today a few things. I'm going to give you an update on what's happening with my mental health, something very exciting that I've got coming out very soon to help you guys. And I thought a good place to start was to share a post that has been shared and responded to many times on social media, even actually read out by other yoga teachers in their yoga classes, it's just such a deep honor to have words shared, not because they're my words, just because the more we speak about the real feelings that can come up in this transition, the more that everyone's educated and aware and doesn't think it's just them and doesn't think that they're alone, which is the worst thing in the world. So this post is called Itchy, Bitchy, Brave. Something Kate Codrington said during our recent interview has been lurking around under the surface of my mind. Actually, so many things since that chat, but this one in particular I haven't mined as yet. Paraphrasing Kate, she said something like, I felt so scratchy in perimenopause, and I realized that is exactly how I feel. I am scratchy, itchy, intolerant on so many levels. Just in the last 24 hours, I felt a bone-deep aversion to my phone pinging notifications, people in general, noise of any kind, the feeling of wet grass under my feet, too bright light, background conversation, the feeling of my beloved leather motorbike jacket around my neck, the feeling of wind in my face on the back of a bike, which I used to live for, even the sound of our dogs breathing, for God's sake. My skin feels tight. My soul feels raw and oh so tender, and any little thing could so easily tip me over the edge with its intolerable itch. And don't even get me started on my trigger temper. I feel like I'm surfing the very worst, irritable, cranky, wild waves of PMT, but multiple times a day, every freaking day. So yes, there's all of that. And also, there's a strong knowing inside me that the only way out of this messiness is through. There will be no rushing. There can be no pushing. There is so much to shed. There is so much to know. And all I truly need to do is just be here now. And to just be here now means releasing my attachment to what needs to get done, in inverted commas, and letting go of the plan of what must happen today, in inverted commas, and honoring the deep pull I feel for solo time alone, in the dark, earplugs in, eye pillow on, listening to the wild woman wisdom that is calling me home, honoring finally, magically, powerfully, how brave it is to just be here now. To all my fellow itchy, bitchy, brave fellow midlife sisters, I see you. I hear you. May you feel safe. May you feel surrendered. May you find a way to do what you need to do for you, no matter what that looks and feels like. May you feel brave enough to just be here now. And if you need me, I'll be in my itchy, bitchy, brave cave. So that's the post, and the fact that it has had such a huge response in terms of people saying things like, some days are just too scratchy, itchy, bitchy, ragey. Thank you for sharing and reminding and letting ourselves be with what's important. And comments like, just what I needed to read today to know I'm not alone. This is why I keep sharing these words that come to my mind. And often these words come to my mind literally in the middle of the night. So many times lately, I've woken up at 2 a.m. in the morning with an entire post or blog or podcast episode or question for our guest in our head. And I do really feel it very strongly that there is this deep well of wisdom from the wise woman within pulling at me, trying to show me the way. And the funny thing that I've been noticing myself is that my normal tendency would be to push on through. And, if you're a fellow people pleaser or a good girl or a high achiever or a perfectionist or any of those roles that women are often conditioned into. Maybe you'll relate to the feeling like you need to push on through, or that you always have. But I know I've said this many times on this podcast. I feel like the biggest gift of this powerful portal of perimenopause is that often we don't have the energy or the bandwidth to actually be able to push on through. And often, just like the day that I wrote that, the only thing we've got energy to do is lie on a yoga mat in the dark, earplugs in, eye pillow on, and just resting until the next thing that is essential to do. So, the last time I spoke with you, I shared about my perimenopausal mental health journey. And I shared how trauma bubbling to the surface had been affecting me, and how I had become aware that I really had not been holding down the anchors of basic self-care, making sure I got as much sleep in between cats and bloody in the middle of the night musings that wake me up, but also just eating regularly and, not propping myself up on sugar, and making sure I had time for lots of rest and lots of pleasure. So pleasure, play, and pause have been my big focuses. And I'm really grateful to share with you that that has gone a long way to making me feel like I've got a more even foundation. And I'm getting much, much better at trusting the timing of these ups and downs, and also learning to listen when I've really got no energy in the tank. And also, I was thinking before, as I was having a shower before 4:00 in the morning as you're having a shower, a lot of what the magic of this ride is actually learning to surf the waves, not only of the itchy bitchy brave days, but also like the last few days I've been on top of the world. My confidence has been super high. I've been really productive, feeling really positive. And so I've felt more like the self that I was in my 20s and 30s. So I'm learning to surf those days and be focused and be productive and do what I need to get done, but also know when my mood is up and my energy is up that inevitably it will be down again, and to not make that mean anything. I haven't failed. There's always enough time and energy to do everything that's important to me. I wrote a post yesterday about a concept called Peri essentialism. So Peri essentialism, I only just read the 2014 book Essentialism. If you're someone who struggles with time management or prioritizing your life, essentialism should become your Bible. It's just become mine. Basically, the concept in essentialism is you'll only have time for the things that are essential if you only do the things that are essential. So it's taking a clearer stance with what you will invest your time and energy in. And it's not dissimilar to what I've been writing about in perimenopause. So I have coined a new phrase called Peri essentialism, where you do the things that are important to you and don't cost you. And you say no and you surrender and you let go of other things that either don't fit or they cost you too much. They're too painful. You're doing them out of obligation and not generosity. But there's this deep peace in being forced to choose. And I've never had that sensation before. I've never been grateful to be forced to choose what I'll invest my time and energy in. I've always felt like I've had more than enough energy and more than enough time to do everything. And consequently, spent a good few decades of my life completely overscheduled, completely goal-oriented, and not having any time just to chill the heck out and enjoy life. So the other thing that's rising to the surface for me at the moment, and I've been talking to clients and friends about that seems to be resonating, is this concept of this wise woman within calling you to gently, patiently cradle yourself while you burn down what is no longer essential. When you honor and connect and repattern and surrender into this midlife metamorphosis. And what's becoming more and more clear for me is just like puberty is this painful, powerful portal to shift from child to adult. And it took surrendering who we used to be as a kid to make time and space to morph into a new version of ourselves as a grown-up, in inverted commas. And if you've had the pleasure of becoming a mum, if that's been part of your journey, take yourself back to being in labor. And that was also a painful, powerful portal to birth a new little being into this plane. And not only did you go about, the physical changes of the labor itself, but over the whole time that you carried that baby, it took surrendering who you used to be to make the time and space to morph into the new version of yourself as a mother. And just the same, perimenopause is also a painful, powerful, potent portal for rebirthing ourselves. And it too takes time to surrender who you used to be and make the time and space to morph into a new version of yourself as the wise woman. And here's the kicker. It'll take as long as it takes. There's no pushing, there's no rushing. But here's what we can hold on to. Here's what all of my postmenopausal guests keep on telling me. Just as surely as the spring follows the winter in the seasons and day always follows night, we can rest easy knowing that with time and patience and lots of self-kindness, we will transition through perimenopause and we will emerge into the second spring of our lives. And when we emerge, we will be unapologetic, real, whole, powerful, wise, precious, radiant, complete, and wild, and finally fucking free to be the real us in the second half of life. And if that doesn't give you goosebumps, I don't know what will. That's the wisdom popping to the surface for me today. So yes, some days I'm itchy, bitchy, brave, and some days that wise woman is calling me to know that it's all for a purpose. And the other thing that I'm really, really clear on at the moment, and I'm going to read you a quote from another podcast episode, but I absolutely love these words. So this is from our last episode with Janet McGeever, who's a psychotherapist and sex, love, and intimacy educator. And she said, perimenopause. This is a time of lying still on the cool forest floor, covered in fallen leaves, held by earth and growing down roots. We're gathering the threads of ourselves, finding our way back home. Does that not make you sigh relief? If it doesn't, I don't know what will. So I have decided to do something really cool where we get to join together once a month for what I'm calling a soothe session. And soothe to me is such a beautiful word. It makes me feel like I'm wrapped up and being cradled and rocked and that I'm completely safe and completely relaxed. And to me, that is my most desired state in amongst these waves of up and down energy and up and down mood and up and down aches and pains and up and down sleep and up and down everything else, the roller coaster, the roller coaster. That is the core thing that I want to feel is soothed. And that is something that is very present to me as I talk to women at this stage in life, and even our guests, that they all say similar things. They all say that you've got to take care of yourself, you've got to rest more, you've got to turn inwards. Or no, not that you have to. Sorry, that's not correct. There's an invitation to tune in, to get quiet, to rest more, to listen to the wisdom, and to ask yourself the high quality questions, right? Because, life depends on high quality questions, or our growth in life does anyway. So every month, and the first one is on the 13th of April. But even if you're listening to this after that, there is, I will share the link to the page where you can sign up. I'm going to do a call, or it's actually a live soothe session with me every month. So it's a choice to join me and to have a general chat about fundamentals you need to know about this powerful, potent, and yes, sometimes painful portal of perimenopause. We'll share one or two simple, effective tools to offer yourself some self-soothing when this tricky transition starts to get you down. I'll ask one high-quality question to have your self-awareness and self-growth invitation. Think things like, what is this thing I hate doing really costing me? Does this relationship really fit? Where am I doing things out of obligation, not generosity? All of those good high-quality questions. A chance to do a little bit of journaling on that, and then perhaps most delicious of all, we will round out our session with a super relaxing 20 minutes of either restorative yoga or yoga nidra. And the whole point of these sessions is just to allow you some space and grace to calm your mind, soothe your nervous system, learn to feel safe in your body. That's been a big thing that I'm learning is the itchiness, and even the bitchiness sometimes is because my system feels overwhelmed and hypersensitive and a little bit sort of scattered. And the opposite to that is feeling soothed, right? If you feel soothed, you're calm and you're in the moment and you're in your body, and there's space to get quiet and turn inwards and listen to the wise woman. And this wise woman, holy moly, she ain't mucking around. She is not mucking around. I feel like perimenopause, this portal, is the link between our younger, energetic, able to juggle easily, achievement focused, mating and dating and maybe procreating, climbing the ladder if that's been your thing, this kind of quite outward busy season. And then we're in this portal between that version of ourselves and this deep, hey gorgeous, we interrupt this gold for a delicious invitation. If your whole body has been whispering more lately, more voice, more truth, more satisfaction, more clients of the soulmate variety, more cash, more you, then this invitation is for you. Potent, my sister mind is officially open. This is my high touch, holy fuck, I'm ready sister mind for rebels in good girl clothing who are done outsourcing their power and diluting their magic to fit into someone else's business formula. If you have been craving a space where your strategy, your voice, and your energy all get to be offered, honored, refined, and amplified, this is it. Inside of Potent, you will get my eyes on your business every single week, copy mentoring, and that is for brand copy and content storytelling that turns your truth into client catnip, energetic recalibration that helps you unhook old learned limitation patterns, keeping you quiet, not being seen, not being heard, real-time, high-touch, one-on-one coaching that actually sees the bigness of your vision, and the kind of sisterhood that does not flinch when you show up in your full, messy, brilliant, phoenix rising from the ashes glory. This isn't surface level support. It's deep, potent, paradigm shifting work that changes who you are as a woman in business and a woman in life. We start in August. Early open access is open right now. For the month of June 2025, inside of this early access open doors period, you will receive juicy bonuses, extended payment plans, and access immediately to my entire library of storytelling gold. You'll find all the juicy details at kyliepatchett.com/potent. And we fill spaces, and there's only 10 of them, and more than likely only 5 by the time you listen to this, because by that time I will have offered them to the existing cohort, the beautiful original OG circle. We do actually take applications on a first come, first served basis. So come and apply, and let's get back to the magic of the episode. Wise, powerful inner knowing. And I feel like she's running the show. The wise woman is running the show, and she is calling us to account. She is saying, it is time to get real with yourself. It is time to notice that when you're feeling tired and scattered and emotional and way less able to juggle all of the damn things, that maybe, just maybe, what you're being invited to do is try on a different way of being, something that you've never done before, you've never needed to do before, because you've had an excess of resources. So if you are walking alongside me and you're noticing that there's lots of different changes going on for you, maybe you know you're already in the menopausal transition. Maybe you haven't realized that these changes could actually be perimenopause. And then we'll be answering the question in the Soothe sessions, what the hell is perimenopause anyway? As I've talked about before, as a biologist, I'm a little bit embarrassed to say that I was completely blindsided by perimenopause. And what that says to me is that up until probably now, the last couple of years, we haven't been having these conversations enough. Because we should never, ever be blindsided by something that is so normal and so natural. But either way, if you know you're in the transition, or you're questioning whether you're in the transition, and you're noticing that physically your body is somehow feeling different, maybe your body composition is changing, maybe you've got vaginal symptoms, maybe you're running hot all the bloody time, mentally you're starting to feel like maybe you're not running on all 4 cylinders or 6, whatever, how many cylinders, and you've got the sort of brain fog or lack of concentration or not being able to find words, and you're certainly noticing that your ability to multitask is decreasing. And I would always argue that our ability to multitask is pretty crap anyway, no matter what we've been fed by the media. And if you're like me, emotionally surfing those waves of, times of anxiety, times of very depressed, or not depressed mood, but low mood, not being able to sleep, not being able to cope, not having the emotional bandwidth, not being able to buffer stress as much. If you sometimes are feeling okay, but other times you're feeling lost and alone, or discombobulated and disconnected, scattered and shattered. That's another one that I always say. Tired and wired, or itchy and bitchy. Geez, I'm into the rhyming, aren't I? What I would just like to close with is, yes, it feels messy right now, but these midlife years do have a magical purpose, and you are smack bang in the middle of a powerful portal, the rite of passage of perimenopause. And it is the bridge between your younger, energetic self and your older, wiser, and here's the good thing, take no bullshit, deeply anchored in your own internal guidance, free of obligation, duty, roles, and responsibilities, and way more fucking powerful wise woman. And she's calling you. She's calling you to learn to be gentle and patiently cradle yourself while you burn it all down, honor, connect, repattern, surrender into this midlife metamorphosis. come and enjoy a soothe session with me. And as I say, I'm going to be doing them regularly. I've already got them booked into my calendar, and I will flip the time zones around between 6 or 7 p.m. Australian time and 6 and 7 a.m. Australian time. So that reaches most edges of the planet. The late night ones are not great for LA time. So whatever that one is, East, Western, Pacific. I can never remember what they're called. Anyway, you will find the page on the show notes wherever you are listening into this podcast, and you'll also find it at kyliepatchett.com.au. They are called free monthly masterclasses, the Soothe Sessions, and I would love to see you there. I know that these are going to be a really, really powerful gathering of women to be real about what the heck is going on, but also just to offer themselves some nourishment and some time and space for just them. Doesn't that sound freaking delicious? Thank you again so much for being here. Your presence and your feedback and the amount that you're getting out of these conversations just gives me so, so much joy. Coming up in the podcast, we've got some amazing guests, both leaders in the midlife space and also garden variety humans like you and I who have just gone through some really tricky stuff and burnt stuff down and made big decisions and set themselves free. And I know you are going to get so much gold out of them. So go register for the Soothe Sessions. And I would really love it if you would subscribe, rate, and review, and have a beautiful day. And that is me done with my solo episode before 5 a.m. in the morning. See you later, guys. Hello, beautiful. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. And I trust you receive some golden nuggets or key takeaways that will help you to create the space and grace to more gently traverse this perimenopausal transition. I know that sometimes these midlife years feel rather messy, but they do have a magical purpose. We are literally smack bang in the middle of a powerful, potent, sometimes painful portal, the rite of passage of perimenopause. And the way I see that is that it's a bridge between our younger, energetic, dating and mating, climbing the ladder, easily able to juggle all the balls self, and our older, wiser, take no bullshit, deeply anchored in our own internal guidance, free of obligation, duty, roles and responsibilities that no longer fit us, and way more powerful wise woman within. And what's the wise woman doing right now? She's calling you to gently, patiently cradle yourself whilst you burn down what no longer serves, whilst you honor your needs, while you connect and repattern old limiting things, and you surrender to this deep midlife metamorphosis. I have created something really special for us to get together online every month, completely free. They're called the Soothe Sessions, and it's a chance to join me to create the space and the grace to calm your mind, soothe your nervous system, and learn to feel really safe in your body so that you can let the wise woman have her way with you. We'll join online every month for 90 minutes, and the sessions will include a little bit of a fundamental background info about this powerful portal of perimenopause. I'll share with you a simple and effective tool from my toolbox to offer you some self-soothing when this tricky transition starts to get you down. And my toolbox includes everything from sleep science to energetic medicine, bodywork, shiatsu, traditional Chinese medicine, oriental psychology, yoga, meditation, breath work, all sorts of weird and wonderful East meets West goodness. I'll also offer you a high quality question for your self-awareness and growth. And then perhaps most delicious of all, a super relaxing 20-minute restorative yoga or yoga nidra to allow you the space and grace to integrate what you've learnt. You will find everything about the Soothe sessions underneath the show notes in all the podcast platforms, and also on my website at kyliepatchett.com.au under free monthly masterclass. I hope you will take the opportunity to join me. I'd love to meet more of you live, and I will be swapping the time zones around from evening to early morning Australian time so that everyone around the world, including the 29 countries that Zoom on in across Australia and the Asia Pacific region and Europe and the Americas, and even Iceland, which I've just seen today, which is pretty cool. So yeah, the time zones will actually change so that they'll be good for you, and if you register, there will always be a replay. So I hope you'll join me. Here's to you going gently through this midlife metamorphosis, and have a beautiful day. Thanks so much for tuning into another episode, and I trust you're walking away with inspiration, aha, maybe some chiropractic adjustments of the soul where you've realized perhaps some ways that you're getting in your own way, or something that needs to be healed, or something that's calling to you that your heart really, really wants to birth or create or step into in this second cycle of life. And if that's you, I am throwing my arms wide open and inviting you to check out all of the ways that we could potentially partner together at kyliepatchett.com.au. That's my website for the podcast, and also one-on-one and group programs in midlife mentorship, yoga and breath work in specifically designed menopause classes online, and also, super excitingly, a list of retreats around Australia that I have been blessed to partner with some pretty darn spectacular humans who also help midlife mavens through this transition point. So if you are looking for some support, some community, some tools, just a safe place to actually reconnect to who you are, what you want, and come home to your own power and magnificence, I would love to welcome you into any one of those containers. So head on over to kyliepatchett.com.au, and I will be back in your ears very, very soon.